Hello and welcome to this module which is called Continual Improvement. You need to act on it. My name is Marc Taillefer. I'm going to be your instructor for this module. Don't forget that if you have any questions or any comments, that you can always use the question comment box. So, hey, let's get started. The topics for this element is maintain and improve, an improvement model, an improvement related to quality. Let's position ACT at this point. We have done up to now some training on plan, do, and check. The last part of it is now we need to act on it. I have seen, as I told you, in some organizations that are performing very well, I have seen that they are going through those 4 elements of the cycles. Other organizations that are not going as well have stopped after do. Some of them have stopped after check. But they don't, carry the activities and the effort they have done up to now in planning, doing, and checking into action, so they don't act. The element of act is to maintain and improve the service management system. The service management process and the procedure should continue to support the service provider's policy throughout the PDA cycle. There should be clear roles and responsibility on who does what and when for ACT. This has to be documented. Also, then you would have identified, document who prioritizes things, who manages it, who measures, and who reports. And who's going to be managing the corrective action? Who is going to be there responsible for eliminating nonconformities and also implementing preventative action? As you remember, nonconformities are elements that needs to be corrected rapidly. Preventive actions are elements which will elevate, which will improve, which will focus better on customer needs. Managing improvement needs to be clearly prioritized, and we need to have evaluation criteria to know when is it done, when is it necessary to stop because we've done it. If you don't do that, you could be ever doing those activities to improve. You need to know when to stop, and the evaluation criteria provide us that. It must be planned. Now it can be planned in many ways. If it's a complex improvement, well, maybe we need a project. We need project management. If it's a less complex improvement, well, maybe just doing a little plan, do, check, act as a project, and that project can be done by somebody of the organization. That may suffice. So we need to look at the amplitude of what we're going to be doing and decide how are we going to plan it. But in any case, it needs to be planned. Managing improvements, elements that need to be managed would be improvement target. So we could have targets for cost, quality, value, capability, productivity, utilization, and risk reduction. These need to be measurable, and improvement needs to be completed. Then, as we do that, we need to revise our plan, policies, process, if necessary. So we need to measure implemented improvement and take action if targets are not achieved. So if we didn't do enough of what we said we would do, it needs to be looked at. And lastly, we need to report on the improvement to the interested parties. Don't forget that a lot of people have spent a lot of time and effort in advising you on it, collecting data for it. So now we have a lot of people that need to be where it needs to be communicated to, so that we need to report on the improvement to the interested parties. Efficiency and effectiveness of the service Well, once this, it needs to be an end-to-end service, so quality needs to be considered. What is an end-to-end service, you would say? Well, as I'm a customer and I need something, I do want something that will be crossing all the boundaries and will be providing me a service end to end. If I need to talk to too many people, if I need to talk, request things, then we need to be able, and you need to be able to look at that end-to-end service quality. On the quality aspect of improvement, we need to be improving the process that deliver the services. We need to look at the people, and are the people following the process? Are the people competent enough? Technology, is the technology supporting us? You know, is it the horse that is pulling the cart, or is it the cart that's pushing the horse? Technology is there to be used for the purpose we need it, not the reverse. So we need, yes, to have potentially automated processes, but those automated processes need to be working properly, and the cost of automating needs to be valid. Policy will include defined and agreed. We need to have a policy on improvement, and it needs to be agreed upon. And that part is sometimes, and I've seen that in organization, my experience tells me that this takes a longer time for people to agree on. People in today's world, in many parts of the world, and hopefully it doesn't apply to your part of the world, speed is sometimes considered to be a little bit too fast. And people don't have time to, what I'd say, understand, mature, and agree upon policies around improvement. So people want, something very, very rapidly in some parts of the world, and asking for improvement towards customer satisfaction takes some time and takes some maturity. So the policy that needs to be there, but the policy needs to be agreed. It may be that you have to explain it often, that you explain it again and again, explain it in words where the people can understand it, but the policy on improvement needs to be agreed, or else it won't happen. It'll be just a sentence, it'll be just words on paper, it will not happen. You need to have evaluation criteria. You need to be able to say, as we have this policy, is it happening? What criteria are we going to use? And then who defines quality? Is quality, somebody said that the quality is the eye of the beholder or something like that. Are we going to define quality as an IT thing, or are we going to define quality as the customer is satisfied with what we're producing for them? The service we're producing are service of quality because the customer says so. That's a bit more difficult, but that has to be done. Who defines quality has to be the person that is using that. Here's a model which has been around for many, many, many years, but I wanted to use it because it's simple and it works. I've seen more complex systems. They're nice, they've got nice colors, they've got nice things, but they don't work as good, at least for my measurement and using my criteria, as this one. First question is, what is the vision? And then we need to look at what is the business vision? What is the vision and goal and objective of the business? And us in IT, what's our vision? The next thing is, where are we now? We need to do measurement. We need to do a baseline assessment. We need to know where are we now in all areas. We said customer satisfaction, we said efficiency, we said effectiveness. So where are we now, and where do we want to be? We want to be at a place where we will be satisfying our customer. We want to be at a place where we will be effective with some criteria to define it. So from that, we are going to create measurable targets. And the concept of targets is plural. So we are answering, let's say, a simple one. We are answering phone calls at the service desk in 5 minutes. Well, do we want people say we need to answer it in 30 seconds? Well, if that is the case, what would be the measurable targets? And then people will say, wait, we can't move from 5 minutes to 30 seconds in like one shot. So we will have 3 targets. We'll move from 5 minutes to 3 minutes, 3 minutes to 1 minute, and 1 minute to 30 seconds. It's an example. So we need to have measurable targets. We need to know how to get there. Then the question of how is, how are we going to get there? Now that we know where we want to be at one point in time, how do we get there? And service and process improvement is a necessity. So we need to know about that. And then, a very, very, very important aspect, did we get there? So we need to have measurements and metrics to say, yeah, we got there. If you decide to move from one city to another, you need to know when is it time to stop, because you are in that city. So we need measurement and metrics. And once this is done, and we are there, how can we keep the momentum going? And the momentum going brings us again to what is the vision? Where are we now? Where do we want to be? How do we get there? Did we get there? Yes. And so this is one, I think, one very simple explanation of the continuous service improvement model. Note that in some cases, where are we now? The answer would be, we are where the customer wants us to be, and then we would stop there. We would continue to do measurement to ensure that we stay there, but then there would be no improvement process or improvement activity initiated. If you have any question, if you want to use the comment and question box, please do so. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time. Bye-bye.